Welcome back to another episode of Shidduch Talk. We just heard from our Ephraim Goldberg, and it's called Shidduch Talk and not Shidduchim Talk. You go check it out.
The covenant of Pesach. So there's the Gemara site Daf Beis. I think everyone knows the Gemara. The Gemara says that Shidduchim is Koshin Kriyas Yamsuf. So there's a lot of questions. First of all, what's hard about Shidduchim, and then what's hard about Yetzias Mitzrayim. So there's a Ramban that we're going to start off with. The Ramban says that there's two types of nisim. There's a nes nigla, a very open, obvious nes, and then there's a nes nister. So teva, Hashem made teva. Why did Hashem make teva? That everything looks natural, is because Hashem doesn't want that there's no bechira. So if everything would be a nes goli like Yetzias Mitzrayim, that the whole world saw that Hashem runs the world, so then what's going to happen is there's no bechira anymore. So one of the biggest advantage that a human being has over malachim or animals is our koyach of bechira, and the more nigla the nace is, the harder it is to have real bechira. So Yetzias Mitzrayim, for some reason Hashem wanted that the whole world should then see the nace nigla, but that's caution. Again, why is it caution? It's caution because Hashem wants the Bria to run with a regular system of Bechira. So when sometimes he has to go out of his way and not do Al Pidar Chateva, and it should be a Nes Nigla, so then, even though it takes away the Bechira, but it has to be done. The Hashem making Shidduchim, the Gemara is saying, is similar to Kriyas Yamsuf. You see the Yad Hashem a lot, and it's such a big nace that it's a nace gully. Now, we don't want there to be a nace gully. So what do? So there's a big stira. Are you supposed to do a shtadlus? Are you not supposed to do a shtadlus? Right? We all know that if Hashem makes a shidduch, so what can you do to change it? And what can you do to help it? It's just before you're born, there's an announcement who you're going to marry. So what's the whole point of a shtadlus? So I saw that they explain that this Gemara caution is that really it's such a big nace that it's caution that it takes away your bechira. You're going to see a nace, everyone's going to go crazy. A guy goes out with one girl and he gets engaged. The odds are so high, and there's so many levels of nisim that a person sees in a shidduch that you do a shtadlus enough to make it that it's not a nace nigla. It's more a little dressed up in teva, but a person has to know that it's really coming from Hashem. It's the whole Bashart idea. We believe that it comes from Hashem, but you have to do your shtadlus on enough of a level that it shouldn't be sort of like a Nes Gully. That's one pshat that I saw. I saw another pshat from Leib Lager that he says that there was something fascinating about Yetzias Mitzrayim. It says before even Kodim Sheishis Mei Bereshis, Hashem was Hisna B'Maisa Bereshis. He was made a tonight with the Yam when he created the ocean. That it's going to split one. It's going to split one. Klal Yisrael has to go out. Like there's a lot of midrashim and Yosef and a lot of different things. This was all in the Bria. It was built into the Bria that there's going to be Yetzias Mitzrayim. But what happened? They came to the Yam. It didn't split. What was needed? So what was needed was a very high level of Amunah, that they believed that Hashem's going to cross them. But you needed Nachshain to jump in. You needed a small jump from Nachshain to get the whole entire Kriyas Yamsuf going, even though everything was built in and it was going to happen. But you needed a little hashtadlus to make it happen. Now, what is that little hashtadlus? So the pasuk says that tefillah azos yispal kol chassid eis mitzay zu isha, that a person has to daven for his shidduch. Now, I want to a little explain that, and I want to add one little thing. The Nesivis in Keheles, when it says the biggest hevel in the world, So he says that anything that's totally in mazel, then all your amelus is l'shav. It's a waste. Why? So here, the Nesiva says that when it comes to mazel, let's say parnasa is totally in mazel, so all you have to do is take a key and open up the mazel, and then once it opens up, it happens by itself. So he says, what Shlomo Melech says, it's the biggest heaven in the world that people work real hard, because either way, if you're supposed to be poor, so you work a whole day, and you're gonna be poor anyways. And if you're supposed to be rich, you're gonna be rich anyways, without working anyways. So anything that's totally a mazel, then all you have to do is open up the Hashtadlus. The Hashtadlus is just to open up the mazel, sort of to activate the mazel, and then it happens on its own. Now Rashi says that in Saita that base, when it says Bas Pliny Lepliny, he says that that's the mazel. So the same thing by Shidduchim, that really, everything's going to happen. You have to do your part, your Maisa. Now, what is that part? So I want to a little bit go on to the Tefillah part. That you're supposed to daven. So there's a question that I saw a lot of Mefarshim asked, or Ashav asked it. A lot of people asked the question that if your Shidduch is guaranteed from Hashem, like the Gemara Might and Cotton says, so then what are you davening for? What are you davening for? So some say that you daven that the other person should be in the same situation as you. Let's say you're a Bach learning in yeshiva, so you daven that the girl should want a boy that's learning in yeshiva. If she's holding somewhere else, it's going to be very hard for the shidduch to happen. So you daven for the other person to be in the same situation as you. Second shot I saw that the word eis mitzai is time. That in Siyani Halachas he brings down that shot that it should be on time. That means your shidduch is supposed to happen. So you're davening that it should be on time. I want to go a little bit on a third mahalach, like this. There is a very famous question. It starts in the Rishonim, and the Midrashim, and the Psukim. If a person who's a Baal Bechira could actually harm you, that means like this. Do we say that for you to be harmed, it has to be nigzer from Hashem to you be harmed, and therefore a human being can't harm you? Or I have Bechira, I have choice, and I could hurt you. So there's a famous chinuch. The chinuch says that there's no such thing. One human can't hurt another human, and therefore the din of nekama doesn't start. You can't do nekama because if someone did something bad to you, it was supposed to happen to you, and that person was just a messenger. That's the famous chinuch. I want to go with the other shitas, the Orchaim by Machias Yosef. He says the famous thing that he davened that Yosef should be saved, but he knew that he could only be saved from the snake, but he can't be saved from if the brothers decided to kill him. It's famous Archaim. It's brought down the pasuk by David HaMelech. It says he davened that he should be saved before Tachnon, that he should fall in Hashem's hand, not in a human's hand, because a human could hurt him. The famous, I saw a lot of Mepharshim say by Daniel when he was thrown into the lions. So there was a hole and there was an opening. So they brought a rock. The rock came from Eretz Yisrael, and they covered the hole. Why did they cover the hole? So the Rishonim say because they were scared that the enemies that were malshin on Daniel are going to throw arrows into the pit. So that means it was easy that he's going to be saved from the lions. Okay, Daniel is going to be saved from the lions, but to be saved from humans, he couldn't be saved, and therefore they had to put a rock. So there's a musig in a lot of Rishonim and Achrayim that you can't that another human, which is a Baal Bechira, could be mazik you. So now when it comes to Shidduchim, even if it's the most basher shidduch in the world, there's still another human involved, and that other human has a Bechira to decide not to marry you. So even though everything's perfect, but there's two people with Bechira, and they could counteract each other. So now, what are you davening for? So the Netziv sort of has a pshara. He says that it's harder to be saved from a human, from a Baal Bechira. You need more schosim. So if you have more schosim, you get saved from another Baal Bechira. So I just want to say like a simple pshat that the tefillah, besides the kaich tefillah, you're davening for your shidduch, but it's more of building up this chosim, like the netziv. If it could be amuna, it could be different type of chosim, but the tefillah is making you that you're roy to be saved from the other person's choice. So now al zois yispal chas la'es mitzvah, the tefillah is there that that to block that a bal b'chira shouldn't stir your shidduch. Everyone should have chag kosher v'sameach.